Hey, hello, yo, what is up, my nuggets? Today we are going to be doing an interesting tutorial. We are going to have it look like there's a giant sewn up scar thing where I used to be. And now I'm going to stop talking without further ado. Let's get started.
What's up, dudes? I'm taking over, so let's get started. First, we're going to stick down our eyebrows and prevent them from getting ripped out by latex. We're going to be using a glue stick for this, preferably one that dries clear. Any brand works, and we're going to be powdering it and layering it until it's fully covered. Now, we are going to be taking tissue paper or toilet paper, whatever you have, and ripping it up big enough to cover your eye. And make sure you have no smooth edges, otherwise that'll show up later on. Awesome. Okay, so now we are going to be taking some liquid latex, which you can find at your local Halloween store or online. I personally use the Nigel's brand, but any liquid latex that you are fond of will work. Now, using the liquid latex, carefully map out around your eye where you want the piece of tissue paper to go. And when you're finished doing that, lay down your piece of tissue paper and cover the edges with more latex, making sure to get all of those edges down. Now, we are going to be taking the liquid latex and lightly covering the tissue paper with it. Try not to rip it or tear it or get any in your eyes. Trust me, it's not that fun. Now, take tiny pieces of cotton and layer it over the entire area along with another layer of liquid latex. And once all that has dried, we are going to start working on the wound. Now, we are going to be taking a long, thin piece of cotton and putting it over the area we have just finished. This is going to be our wound. Cover that piece of cotton we just laid down in liquid latex, making sure the ends are very tapered and thin, and the sides are very blended. Now we are going to repeat that process on the other side to make the other wall of the open wound. And feel free to pick off those little pieces of cotton that get stuck to your face. And once that dries, we're going to take any skin color or translucent powder to the look to make sure we get rid of that shine. Looking good. And then just grab your favorite foundation and apply it all over the prosthetic. We gotta make sure it looks as real as possible. Try to get into every nook and crevice so there's no white peeking through. And take a second to look at your handiwork. It's coming together pretty nice. And then, go ahead and take your favorite translucent powder or foundation powder and set the makeup. And don't forget to check on the walls on your open wound. Sometimes they might fall down. And now, take your favorite makeup palette, mine being the Ben Nye, and grab a little bit of black. We're going to make this wound deep. And then just apply that black in the center of the wound to create some nice dimension. And then just grab your palette and dive into the red. We're going to cover the whole inside of the wound with it. I personally like using both of the reds, but you can use either one. And then we're going to grab more black and deepen the wound a little more. And I wasn't too happy with the color, so I went back with some more black and red and darkened it a little bit. Now we get to have some fun. Time for Scab Blood. And we're going to be grabbing some of the Scab Blood. You can use a palette knife, you can use your finger, whatever works for you. And we're going to be covering the entire inside of the wound with it. We're going to make it look real nice and juicy. But don't put too much in there, otherwise you're going to cover up all the work you just did. Now we are going to be taking a makeup sponge and ripping it up to create an uneven texture. This is what we're going to use to create bruising around the wound. And then we're going to take our trusty palette again and dive into some purples and some blues. And just stipple that all around the wound to create some texture and some bruising. And then just start adding some red into the mix. And don't forget to use some water to break up the color and add a little more texture. And now we're going to take some brown and add it in there for an uneven skin tone. And now for the dangerous part. Everybody be very careful with this. Maybe have someone do it for you because your vision is impaired at the moment. And just push the needle through the latex, avoiding hurting yourself, and weave it through the entire wound. Looking spooky, we're definitely getting there. Now for the final part. the live action blood. And this stuff smells so good. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna just stipple this all over the wound, maybe create a couple drips, and it'll look awesome. And this stuff will look wet for the entire time you're wearing the look. So no matter what, it'll always look fresh.
All right, what do you guys think? I think it looks pretty awesome. Okay. Well, it was fun hanging out with you guys. It was fun entertaining you guys for a good couple of minutes. I'll see you in the next one. Later, dudes.